Hail to you. Welcome to Chuntcast. Grab your drinking horn and gather around the fire pit as we discuss comics, gaming, movies, and pop culture. Like and subscribe if you haven't already to become a member of the Chunt Call, Skal. Greetings, by the might of Mjolnir. I am the king of this realm, Uncle Chunt. I hope you're all being great ones to you and yours. Yes, it's been a minute since the last episode of Chuntcast, but here we are. I've been busy. As you can see, a bit of a sign back there, Quidjabo and Harold. That's what I've been busy with lately, in finishing that and promoting it, and you've probably seen some of the videos on my channel already, and me, splashing it everywhere, and I'm quite happy with it. Well, more than quite happy with it. I'm super stoked with it on how it's done. People have reached out telling me they're enjoying the book. Shameless plug. It's out there on Amazon. Quidjabo and Harold, spelled just like that, on Amazon there. And I've actually got some soft cover books, if you want to call it that, paperbacks to give away. So what I want to do is to start off this episode of Chuntcast by saying, if you can leave a comment below this video and just say, my dearest friends, or something like that. My dearest friend Quidjabo or my dearest friend Harold, one or the other. And I want to just randomly select someone, and we'll figure out how to contact you on getting a book out to you. So just leave the comment and see what happens. Alternatively, if you want to jump over to my socials, Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, you'll see the post about this Chuntcast, and just leave a comment underneath those saying as much, my dearest friend Harold or my dearest friend Quidjabo, and I'll randomly select someone, and I'll get your details and we'll get the book out to you. I've got 3 copies here. 3 copies. Right, 3 paperback copies to get to you. So yeah, go ahead, leave your comments, and I'll get a copy out to you. Super happy with it. I personally still think the hardcover premium version is still the best version. It's got the previous color, premium color, previous premium color, premium paper, and hardback. I think that's just the best way to read it and experience it. But I'm actually quite happy with the paperback version here as well. I've got my thoughts on the quality of that one, but it's still good. It's still valid. Maybe I'm just a bit of got a superiority complex going on. I just prefer the premium stuff. But this version for paperback is it's my way of just allowing others to pick up the book without having to pay out for the hardcover premium version of it. So I can have as many people enjoying the book as possible. And it's also on Kindle as well, Kindle Unlimited. So if you've got a subscription there, you've got access to the book as well. So yeah, that all out of the way. Again, thank you very much to everyone that's picked up the book and has reached out to me saying that they've enjoyed it, or their little kid has enjoyed it, or just the feedback in general to the book, because I am starting the next one. So the feedback has been great and supportive and constructive, which is awesome, and it's helping me inform the next one, right? I already had a bit of an idea of where it needed to be, but the feedback's just lent it to that direction even further. So I'm happy that I was already kind of going there, but it's just a bit of validation there on some of the feedback. It's been great. So thank you very much. So what else have I been doing with my time? So you've noticed I haven't been as active on here because I've only got limited time. So I'm just focusing on the book, and that's done. And I had a break for that. I got sick and all that kind of stuff and work. So I'm back here. I've invested in a bit more equipment. I have a new lens. I really like this lens. It's given the feel something a bit extra that I've wanted for quite some time. So I'm super happy with that lens. It's really crispy, and it gives it a bit more of a bokeh, if you want to call it that, or just I think it just smoothens the image overall. I'm really, really happy with it. I invested in a couple of lights. I've got a key light over there and one behind me there, and it just sets the mood, and I can change the colors whenever I want. So yeah, I've just upped it a little bit, and I'm fully focused on, getting myself out there and giving you something to watch and listen to, talking about cool stuff, showing you what I'm doing, my creative endeavors, and I'm just putting something new out into the world instead of the same rinse repeat stuff that we get all the time. From my perspective, as I think, you know, I don't want to like give myself one, but I like to believe that I communicate well and I've got a perspective that others just don't, right? And those of you who stuck around my channel for long enough, you know, you have that appreciation of that perspective or my thoughts, whether I'm right or wrong. That's a whole different story. But you know, I like to talk and communicate. That's why I'm still here. So thanks thanks for all of you that stuck around for all this time and all the newest ones recently. You know, welcome. Hopefully you stick around. No, it's been enjoying getting some toys. I'll talk about some toys. I picked up the 30th anniversary Street Sharks figures. So I got all three of the first wave. So this is Ripster here, and I've got Jab over there, and here's Jab. For those of you listening at home, I'm just showing the figures. I'm so happy with them. They're stoked. They're bigger than the originals. They got modern articulation, which the originals barely could move at all. And then we've got, God, I've forgotten this guy's name already. I don't know. Tell me. I can't remember off the top of my head. So I've just been enjoying myself, basically, and you know, enjoying who I am and what I can do. So I'm back. I've seen Deadpool and Wolverine. I want to talk about that, and that's going to be all spoilers. It's almost reached $1 billion, which means most of you have probably seen it already, right? So I'm going to be talking about that. I'm probably going to be touching on some spoilers because I just want to talk about it freely, and that's one reason why I haven't gotten a video up about it sooner, because I mean, there's only so much you can talk about in this movie without tripping over some spoilers, right? So here we go. I'm going to get into it very shortly. And then after that, I'm going to go through some of the announcements at D3 that's happened in the last 24 hours and just see what, you know, the Marvel change is, the Disney change, if any. And we can have a look and review that together. Also, I just want to, I don't know, just highlight something cool here. Bit of some retro gear. If I can just get this untangled. Goddamn, this is going back in time. It's going to eject the battery here in the headphones. Right. So, look at this thing. Look how old school is this? This is a V8 tape player, a high 8 or video 8 tape player, camcorder device thing. So why do I have this? Why? That's a very good question. I'm glad you asked. So I cleaned out my garage recently, and I found all these tapes that I've had. I've only got 4 of them left. I don't know where all the other ones are, if I had any more, but I found them. I'm like, oh, right, cool. What's on them? So the video camera I had at the time, which was my dad's, it doesn't work anymore. So I cleared out the garage, but I kept the tapes, and I was like, what can I do here? How can I get the footage off this somehow? Like, what do I need to do? So I'm fully aware that there's HDMI, like VGA, not VGA, AV and S-video to HDMI adapters and all that. I'm aware that's all out there. So I was like, all right, cool, I can do that. That's fine. But I don't have a device to play the tapes. So I went looking on eBay, Facebook Marketplace, all that kind of stuff. And to get a brand new one, or not a brand new one, but one in good nick, that's not just being sold for parts. You're looking, what I was finding anyway, $400 to over $1,000 for a camcorder or a home player device. And I was like, yeah, that's not going to happen. So I went to Facebook Marketplace, and it's the same kind of stuff. A lot of the people are just selling it for parts because they say it doesn't work anymore or whatever. But I took a chance on this listing, and it's this elderly woman who wasn't too far away, about 47-minute drive or something like that from where I am. And she didn't have a number on it, like a figure to sell it. And I was like, look, this listing is interesting. Can you tell me more about it? And she said, yeah, look, it comes with the bag and all the cables, all the original cables, batteries, manual, all that kind of stuff. But the viewfinder doesn't work. She can't, like, it just doesn't work. Everything turns on and tapes play and that kind of stuff. But you have to have it plugged in to an external source to view the content, whatever. Well, okay, I can work with that. So she didn't have a number on it because it was her late husband's camera. And she's just like, oh, I'm just putting it up there just to see who would take it. So I said, look, I'm feeling okay with the listing and your description and all that kind of stuff. I'm happy to take it off your hands. Since you can't confirm with me at the moment that doesn't work, you know, and I didn't want to be a pain or, yeah, I wanted to give her something, right? She had it up there for $1, right? I was like, look, I'm going to come all that way. You know, I trust that it works. From what you described, it's been kept really well. It's been kept in a bag, like its own carry case and that kind of stuff all these years. And she said, look, I haven't used it since my late husband used it, but when he was around still, it was still working as we would watch it on the TV, you know, plugging it up to the TV. So, all right, cool. So, you know, I offered her a bit more than $1, right, to go pick it up because I felt like if I'm going to do it, it's her husband's. He's not here anymore, so I'm not going to come over and go, here's $1 sucked in. No, I sorted her out. Great conversation. Went up there, and you know, I was just being me, just trying to, you know, I'm not a scary, hairy, bearded man. And we had a great chat in there. And I said, look, it's fine if the batteries don't hold a charge. All I need to do, I'm not fussed about the viewfinder not working. Just tell me that it plays videos well when you hook it up to the TV, that the video and audio comes out. And they're like, yeah, all right, sweet. That's all I need to know. Because if this plays the tapes, that's all I need. Because all I'm looking for is a device that powers on and plays the tapes. And because I've got some extra gear coming to hook it up to my computer so I can transfer it all onto digital. And she's like, oh, wow, cool. Oh, well, you know, look, if you manage to get it working, would you mind? I've got these tapes here that have holidays from me and my husband that I'd really love to watch again without having to use all this kind of stuff. I was like, yeah, 100%. Like, yeah, of course. I'd be more than happy to help. Like, if I can get it working, I'll contact you again and let you know that it works, and, you know, we'll make it happen, right? Because I was like, oh, man, you know, it's one of those, how could you say no for one? But they're not going to know what to do. And she did tell me she went shopping around to find someone, but they were charging just ridiculous prices, right? And, you know, of course they are, because people are going to do that, right? But look, I believe, you know, there's certain times where you've got a bit of a opportunity in front of you to do something with someone. It's not that much of a drama, or it's not going to take too much time or resources or whatever. And it was just an easy yes. So I'm still waiting for the extra bits and pieces to make sure this works. But it does play. I hooked up some headphones to it. I can hear the video, and I can see the viewfinder trying to play something. I'm positive that this is going to work out. And if it does, looking forward to, you know, doing her a solid and transferring all the old holiday videos with her late husband over to digital so she can watch it whenever. I mean, why not? You know, it's like I believe that if you've got an opportunity in front of you to try and just do a little something, right? It's just try and do it, right? The world that we're in right now is just tense, and everybody's stressed, and everything's not that great, depending on where you are. And you know, just try and make someone's day and just smile and make them feel good, right? I know it's all a bit cheesy and touchy-feely, whatever, but people should do more of it, because, you know, not to go all 90s afternoon kids show on you or Saturday morning cartoons. You know, we've all got a part to play in all this, and the world could be a better place if we all just were nicer to each other. So, yeah, so I'm keen to see how that goes. I'm stoked. And just to fiddle around with some old technology, like it feels so ancient compared to what we're doing here right now. So, yeah, anyway, just rambling on. That's what I've been doing with my recent weeks since I've not uploaded much. So, cool. All right, let's just get stuck into it. I really want to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine. I just watched Deadpool 1 and 2 recently with my wife, because she hasn't seen those movies. And we're about to go see Deadpool and Wolverine again. I want to take her to see it. And anyway, so it's kind of fresh in my mind. So let's just get right into it, shall we? Excellent. Here we are. So Rotten Tomatoes, where are we standing? 78% certified fresh, 95% audience score. Look, I think that's kind of accurate, right? Honestly, now that I've had some time away from the movie, I think it's awesome. I think it's brilliant. I still think on paper, it's a movie that shouldn't have happened, right? There's just so much stuff that happens in this movie, or events that have happened during its production, that the fact that this movie got made at all in spite of everything. It's just I'm so happy it exists, is what I'm trying to say. Look, I didn't really think too highly of Deadpool 1 and 2. I think Deadpool 1 is better than Deadpool 2. However, look, it never really set the world on fire for me, right? It's funny, it's creative. I can see the appeal. I can understand why it got so popular, and kids and, you know, all those people, you know, enjoyed the movie, even though it's an R-rated movie. I get it. I understand it. But to me, I was like, yeah, cool. All right. And then the second one was just more of the same of the first one, and it didn't really hit as much to me. But some of the bits, cameos, the end credit scenes, like all the jabs at Ryan Reynolds and his career and X-Men and that career and all that kind of stuff, that's what made it funny to me. Story-wise and all that kind of stuff, it's like, whatever. But going into Deadpool and Wolverine, again, yeah, this is amazing. When you step away from it and you realize, okay, this movie is made at a time where Marvel and Disney are suffering much to their own efforts. And this movie was made or was in production prior to Disney buying out Fox. So there's all this muddled waters, right? And development hell for a while. And then there was a strike, like the writers and actors strike that happened, right? And they shut down production entirely, you know, for a couple of months or whatever. And I could only imagine that whole period helped shape what this movie turned into be. And, you know, opportunities present themselves. Marvel and Disney were supportive of it. You know, that turns out in all these interviews that Marvel rarely ever said no. Disney rarely ever said no to some of the stuff that was in this movie. And to be fair, there's a lot of lines in this movie that I'm legitimately surprised that got put in, right? Like just all the jokes and the winks from Deadpool and Wade Wilson regarding Disney and Kevin Feige. And even there's a joke towards Hugh Jackman, right, about the divorce, his divorce with his wife. You know, they make a jab in this movie about that too, and I'm surprised that Hugh Jackman was okay with that, right? The whole cameo situation, right? Let's just call it what it is. The reason why people come to see this movie is like, yeah, I think it's probably a small percentage of people is like, yeah, cool, another Deadpool movie. But it's the fact that Hugh Jackman's coming back, right? Again, even though he said he never would again after Logan. And again, that's the whole premise of this, right? The anchor point, right? This new thing that MacGuffin that they've come up with. There's two MacGuffins in this. The anchor point character, or the anchor point being across the multiverses. That every multiverse has an anchor point or anchor person or anchor being, whatever they call it. And the fact that they wrote it in as an excuse to get Hugh Jackman back without sacrificing what they did with Logan, like the integrity of that. This Hugh Jackman's Wolverine in this movie is a different Wolverine that died in Logan. So, yeah, I watched Deadpool 1 and then Logan and then Deadpool 2 with my wife this week. So we're kind of prepped for Deadpool and Wolverine going in. So, look, I think it's funny. I think the best part of the movie, two best parts of the movie, is the Wolverine cameo montage, right? Where you see Hugh Jackman in all the different versions of Wolverine in the comics over the years, the Weapon X, the Age of Apocalypse, you know, the short comic accurate one, Patch, you know, the one of the Big X cover surrounded by skulls, like all that stuff. But the Cavalrine thing, I didn't see that coming. Like I remember hearing rumors, you know, years ago that, you know, fans were casting Henry Cavill as Wolverine, or there was a rumor going around that he'd been seen on set or whatever, right? And you're like, yeah, whatever, cool. But, you know, they made it happen. It looked awesome. It was one of the one genuine moment for me where I was like, whoa, okay, I did not expect that ever. But I'm so stoked that it happened. Not that I think that anything's going to come from that. I would love it if Marvel turned around and said, yeah, you know what? Henry Cavill is replacing Hugh Jackman's Wolverine in the new X-Men movies that they're going to be making. I would love that. I would not say no to that. I think he'd be a great fit. He's physically on point, right? He's a good actor. He's got he's genetically gifted in many ways. And he's got a fan base that'll run with it, right? And he loves comics as a nerd. He's one of us. I just think that'd be a great decision. But I honestly think that it probably won't. I think Marvel and Disney want to go with maybe someone a little younger or someone without the baggage that he comes with, right? And I say that with all respect, the baggage from DC, that whole thing, the Zack Snyder stuff, and I don't think they're going to want to be tied to that moving forward. But yeah, anyway, I mean I've talked about that cameo a lot, right, at the moment, and that's how good it was to me. Maybe you go, oh damn, sit up in the seat. As well as many other cameos. The other one, Gambit, right? Gambit, Channing Tatum's Gambit, that literally made me laugh out loud because I could not believe they did it. Couldn't believe it. I had totally forgotten that was a thing until he walked on screen. I was like, who's that? Oh my God. Wow. They did it. Wow, that's right. I know he was campaigning for years, and he was on the photo shoot that Fox Studios did with like, oh, this is our Fox, comic book universe, and here's Channing Tatum as Gambit, and there are all these other people, and he was the Gambit, all the way back like 10 years ago or whatever, and it just never happened until now. And I loved it. They took the piss a bit, which is, why not? But Channing Tatum's funny. He's a funny guy. I think his comedic timing is really good. But he looked the part too, man. They just went full comic accurate and it looked awesome. They looked awesome. They didn't give him the black eyes with the red irises though. But could do that next time. But I think that was the second best cameo in the movie. The other ones, I didn't really care much for. I mean, they were cool, right? Like Wesley Snipes' Blade. Like, okay, that's cool. That's cool. I don't think like. The Ali dude, can't remember his full name, how to bloody say it, but the guy that actually cast that Marvel cast as Blade like 120 years ago, when they would say, hey, we're making a new Blade movie, Mashad Ali or whatever the hell his name is, the delay, the rewrites, for the last 120 years. But I couldn't only imagine that he's seeing the hype going around for Wesley Snipes as Blade now, right? And he's like, oh man, like I'm sure he's happy for the guy, but it's like, well, this kind of takes a bit of hype away from my gig, right? What does that mean for him? And now Ryan Reynolds is coming out tweeting like, hey, let's get a swan song movie for Wesley Snipes' Blade like we did Logan. Now he's stoking that fire, right? So if I was this Ali guy, I'd be like, hey man, what about me? What the hell? Jennifer Garner's Elektra. I mean, that's fine, whatever. I mean, if they weren't in the movie, it wouldn't really make too much difference. I do wish that they coaxed Ben Affleck back. I mean, how cool would that be to have Henry Cavill's Wolverine in there, and they coax Ben Affleck to come back as Daredevil, walking in with Elektra? How cool would that be? That was the only thing I was missing, right? Everything else is great. I'm glad I got it. But when I saw Elektra walk in and there was a pause, oh, is he following her? Is he following behind her? And then no, it was like Blade or something, or Gambit, whatever. But still, I mean, the cameos we got were cool. I mean, X-23 is in there. I know people love that character, and I was like, okay, I don't get it. I mean, she kicked ass as a little kid in Logan. That was great, but I didn't really get too attached, like a lot of people say they do, to that whole daughter-father relationship thing that Logan did. Like Logan's a great movie, don't get me wrong, but I didn't lap it up like a lot of people are saying. It's like, holy moly, it's the most amazing thing ever. But anyway, it's cool to see her back, and there was another anchor point for Hugh Jackman being in the movie, and there's a lot of weight behind it, and I appreciate that kind of stuff, right? But Chris Evans, right? Chris Evans coming on screen, and like I love the bait and switch that they did. I love the bait and switch. Honestly, they had the colors there, like the red that was there and the blue that was there. They set it up so well, making you think that it was Captain America. He even kind of talked a bit like Steve Rogers with that commanding, leadership voice, that he does. And then flame on, while Deadpool's like, he's going to say it like Avengers and flame on, like that whole thing. That was hilarious. It knocked my socks off. Like, whoa, really? Wow, they got him back for Human Torch, Johnny Storm. Got to be kidding me. That was hilarious. I think they did him a bit dirty, to be honest. Like, if you're going to get Chris Evans back, right? Chris Evans, Captain America. If you're going to get him back and do a bait and switch as Johnny Storm, should have got him to do something cool, like really cool, not just flame on, fly up in the air, and shoot fire at Pyro, right? Of all characters. You know, the one character in the X-Men universe that can just take his fire off him, essentially, right? What was he thinking? You know, oh, and then, you know, if he fell, cracked his nuts on the sign, you know, fell like 15 stories or whatever, and he still remains alive somehow. Anyway, it was funny, right? And then, you know, what happened to him? Like, they just killed him off like they did with Mr. Fantastic, right? Instead of popping his head, they just ripped his flesh off his bones. You know, that was like, wow, I didn't see that happening. That was a bit much, I thought, but that's what they chose to do for this movie. I think they could have done other things with him, but anyway, it is what it is. We got what we got, and it was fun, right? The rest of the movie was good. Like, outside of that cameo bait stuff, I'm a sucker for cameo baits, you know, when it's good. Some of it can be just egregious and just not well placed or whatever, but this movie could be seen that way too, right? If the circumstances were different, and this was like just another Marvel movie, which, you know, I'll admit, some of the Marvel movies that just have cameos in there for the sake of having them in there to set up other franchises, right, and just watering down the main story for a little bit. Outside of that, the way they did it here is like, well, of course they did, because this will be the last time that they could do that, right? When you think about it, that's the last time that I think Marvel would be okay in letting that crossover occur from the previous Fox stuff, right? So why not go out in a bang, all in one movie? You know, they couldn't get everybody back. There was some that they didn't even consider coming back. But for what they did and who they got to bring back, it really did just give it that send-off, you know, because there's been a lot of fan speculation forever saying, oh, maybe they can bring this character back. You know, maybe they can, it's a multiverse, so technically the Fox movies exist in this multiverse, you know, and now, like, they literally do, you know, because the X-Men movies exist in this MCU now, and, you know, and now all those other ones exist, you know, so Michael Clark Duncan's Kingpin is a thing in this multiverse now, right? It's a cool idea. I'm glad they did something with it, right? It's you know, they're not leaving anything on the table, which is kind of cool. Right, like DC did the same thing in the Arrowverse, you know, Crisis on Infinite Earths story, or whatever they tried to do, Crisis on Two Earths, where they showed multiple DC universes, and they had a shot of the Green Lantern movie on there, and the Christopher Reeve stuff, and, you know, Superman Returns, and, you know, they've done all that kind of stuff, which is fun. And even the Flash movie just recently, right, they acknowledged a lot of other DC properties and unmade movies and stuff like that, which is great. So, like, all of it's canon, right? All of it's canon, and that's kind of cool, right? It's fan service, and it's like, oh wow, everything matters, you know, and it's one of those moments. But the rest of the movie, like, when you take the cameos out of it, and like the whole Deadpool, like with Thor, right? Thor holding Deadpool crying, and he's like, why is Thor crying? Like, that was funny, and that was a repeat gag. That I thought it was funny every time he woke up or got knocked out and woke up again, he'd say, Thor, you know, like, it's on his mind, like, why is Thor crying? All of that was good. But the story's not really a story. It's just, hey, let's have an excuse to throw Hugh Jackman's Wolverine in here with Ryan Reynolds, and they both get the movie that they wanted to make for a long time. You know, Ryan Reynolds got his Deadpool franchise because he loves Deadpool, and, you know, he's come around to it that Deadpool 2 answered that question of, hey, look, this is the Deadpool that Ryan Reynolds has wanted this whole time, you know, because he hated what they did back in X-Men Origins Wolverine, whatever it's called, X-Men Origins Wolverine, yeah. Well, everybody knows what they did to Deadpool and Wade Wilson in that movie, right? And they answered it in Deadpool 2, you know, by shooting him in the head, you know, and getting rid of him, right? And that was his way of giving a big finger. And, you know, he's been happy to play this character that he's literally born to play. I can't even think of anyone else to play him, right? I don't think anyone can. So for him to get Hugh Jackman back in, and they can just have this fun movie together, this experience together, and loosely thread a story together in between all the cameos, right? I think that's where the weak parts of the movie show, right? I've just talked about all this time about the cool stuff that happened in the movie. Oh, this person, this cameo, this thing you see. Oh, how fun is that? But when you walk away from it, what's the story? You know, Like, what's the So they're just, it's a like loosely threaded fan kind of fiction, almost of, we can weave this universe into that way, and we can cross him over into the MCU, and let's get Wade Wilson interviewing with Happy Hogan at Avengers Tower, I assume, or Stark Tower, to apply to be an Avenger, and it's all loosely threaded through there. But then he gets captured by the TVA and that whole thing, and just opens up the multiverse again, and they make a joke about, oh, can we stop with the multiverse stuff? You've done it again and again. Like, they make that joke in the movie, which is self-aware. So it's all funny gags, stuff like that, and situation comedy, and that's good. It's funny. I think the fight scene with, I'm jumping ahead a bit, but the fight scene with Deadpool and Wolverine, the trailer make it look like it was hyped up to be a big fight, but I remember it was over before it started. Oh, okay, that's the fight, huh? That's the fight between Deadpool and Wolverine. Mind you, there's another one later on in the movie, in the car, which I'll get to in a second. But then, and that's, you can see the sequence where they're fighting in the what's the, I can't remember the zone that they're in. There's the junk universe that they're in, and you see the Fox logo in the background, and that big fight scene that they have there, and you see the other X-Men villains like Toad. I think Bullseye was in the car as well, but it wasn't Colin Farrell. And the original Sabretooth from X-Men 1 and 2, I believe, or just X-Men 1. He came back, right, and that ended so fast, right? That fight, I thought, oh, cool, here we go, a Sabretooth versus Wolverine fight, like this other more feral-looking Sabretooth before they get Schneider, whatever his name is. But then it was over. They cut his head off and it was done in one swing. Oh, okay, all right, cool, done. Oh, okay. I was a bit disappointed by that fight scene, but anyway, the buddy cop kind of adventure that proceeds from there is kind of fun, and they meet Nice Pool and Dog Pool and all that stuff. But, I thought that was funny. Okay, I get it. Like, this is very Ryan Reynolds. It's really playing to the audience. It knows what it is. Very self-aware. Fourth wall breaking, of course. But the fight scene in the car between Wolverine and Deadpool was awesome. I really love that scene, and the sequence that Hugh Jackman provides us leading into the fight. I remember that scene leaked online, and I watched that scene on repeat on some videos that I found, because he just acted his ass off in that little sequence when he's just laying into Deadpool verbally, and he just shows how good of an actor he is in that sequence. It's like, damn, like, even in the theater, I was like, oh, that was a really good scene. That's acting, because everything else has been surface level in most Marvel movies since, and now we get a proper actor. No disrespect to anybody else, but Hugh Jackman just acted his chops off, right? And that was great, and you can tell that the character of Deadpool was listening to that Wolverine, that Logan laying into him, and you can tell it hurt him, right? Because I just really like that sequence, because it hurt Deadpool, because he didn't wisecrack, he didn't interrupt, he didn't have a joke, he didn't look at the screen, like nothing like that. He was just silent, listening to everything that was getting laid out to him, and he's like, "I'm gonna fight you now," and then it goes off. Oh, that was such a good sequence. Like, there's a lot in this movie, yes. Story wise, no, but it knows it doesn't have to, right? And that's the beauty of this movie. And maybe I'm reading into it too much, but this is what I took away from the movie, so I think it's valid to comment on. It knows what it is. It knows the opportunities that it had, and it leant right into them, right? I can only imagine the writing room with Ryan Reynolds and the actor Sean Levi. I've seen some interviews with them where they speak about the writing process and just how back and forth it was. Oh, this idea, and like, oh, they joked about that thing, but it actually turned into something. Then they asked Marvel, it's okay, and they said yes, right? And there's this kind of, oh, we can do that. Oh, this opportunity happened. Let's write a thing in it for it. And you can tell that's what the movie turned out to be. There's a lot of that in it. Like, hey, this thing we could do, this thing that we can do. Hey, might be able to do this thing. Hey, let's make a joke about that and make a thing here. That's essentially the whole movie. Essentially, there's a bit of heart in there, all right? Towards you get to the end of the movie, where it's coming to an end. Hugh Jackman puts on his Wolverine mask for the first time in 20 odd years, right? And that's a moment. He's in his full Wolverine regalia, right? Going off. And that whole sequence is so like comic book Wolverine and Deadpool. It was awesome. I think the suit works on screen. It looks great. Even some would say the ridiculous cowl, I think it works well. And Hugh Jackman just pulls it off so well. I mean, it helps when you've got someone like him wearing it. But yeah, the rest of it, where they help each other to defeat the other MacGuffin in the movie, the time deletion device thing, the multiverse deleter, whatever it's called, time shredder, whatever it's called. Like that whole thing's like, okay, whatever. Cool. And they have that moment where it's another Guardians of the Galaxy moment where there's a massive power thing happening and they have to use the power of teamwork by holding hands and all that stuff. Right, it's one of those moments, but it was pretty epic. The way they handle it was really epic. But I thought they both died. I thought, oh wow, they're actually ending this. Right, this is it. Because the stakes were pretty high. What they're saying were high stakes, and they even said, "Hey, we're not going to survive this." Right, and they have a moment together and all that kind of stuff. And they try to save each other, like, no, I've got nothing to lose. You do, like, I'll stop you here, and that whole thing happens. But then they end up helping each other anyway and saving each other. I know it's money being left on the table if they did kill them off, right? I get it. In hindsight, yeah, they were never going to die in that movie. But the way they set it up and the way they made it look like is they both did die. They both died. They both sacrificed themselves to stop the MacGuffin from going off. I was like, okay, what a neat way to end the Fox verse, right? Give Logan, Wolverine, Hugh Jackman his deserves of just a smorgasbord of Wolverines in this movie and different iterations, different versions that he didn't get to play, or the comic book accuracy that he didn't get to do. And he came back and he did all that all in one movie. Ryan Reynolds, he's done 3 Deadpool movies now. I just thought, oh, okay, wow, this is cool, right? They're wrapping all that up. The Fox verse is done. It's tidied. It's in a bow. It's now destroyed. The multiverse is done, or whatever, or it's closed off from the rest of the universe, whatever. And then they walk back in. They're like, hey, yeah, we didn't die. Amazing. Look at that. Oh, hey, well done, team. Hey, anything we can do for you? Oh, yeah, can you bring back some of my friends that died? Like, okay, all right. Now the TVA people are like, hey, you did really well. If you need anything, let us know. And then Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool, was like, oh, well, can you bring back my friends that died? It's like, okay, all right. So what does this mean? What does this mean going forward? Like, are they just stuck in their own little pocket universe now? Nothing really mattered, right? If Logan from the Logan timeline was the anchor being for that universe, but he died, so that means the universe should have stopped. Deadpool couldn't have gone back to that universe to dig up his grave and have that fight sequence and all that. Because there's there's loopholes in this movie. There's lots of them, but you just have to turn your brain off and just go, okay, it is what it is. But I don't know. Look, I skimmed over a lot, but there's a lot in the movie, and if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. But I've hit most of the good points, I think. And if I've missed some stuff, just let me know in the comments, and we can go from there. But look, I've had this Rotten Tomato thing on screen the whole time because I agree with this, and I don't often agree with Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb ratings and all that kind of stuff. They often don't align with what my thoughts are, but this one does. I think even a little bit more generous on the fresh meter there. I think there's not enough story there. Pretty much what I said. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fan service. It's a lot of opportunities on screen that happened that shouldn't have happened. Like on paper, it should have been an impossible movie. Like if you write out everything that happened during this movie's production and all the things that they got to happen in this movie and all the jokes that they got to happen, all the cameos that got to happen, all the situations and how it's now in the MCU and all that kind of stuff. Right, the Fox buyout, the Disney thing, the failure of the last Phase 4, or all that kind of stuff for Marvel. Like everything leading up to this movie on paper should have made this movie impossible, but they got it, and I enjoy it for that. Right, the audience score 95%, 100%. Like 95%. I agree with that 100% because it is a very enjoying popcorn movie. I'm going to buy the 4K Blu-ray. I cannot wait for that to come out, and I'm gonna buy that. I don't own the original 2 Deadpool movies on Blu-ray, and I don't intend to, but I'll pick this one up because it's everything that you just need. You get the Deadpool experience of the character, you get the Hugh Jackman epicness within, and you get to see some amazing cameos that should have been long gone, right? And that's it. That's the movie in the nutshell. I honestly don't know what they're going to do next. I don't think there will be another Deadpool movie. I think this is the last Deadpool movie. I think this is also the last time you'll see Wolverine or Hugh Jackman in a main role as Logan. I honestly will see if he comes back. And the easiest thing for you to tell me right now is that the next time you'll see Deadpool and Wolverine come back is in Secret Wars, and I agree with you. I think that is the next time you'll see these two in Secret Wars. And if that's true, that's amazing. I mean, if you're Hugh Jackman, right, who said he was done at the end of Logan, and now he's come back and, you know, $1 billion movie, probably is by the time I've uploaded this, and with the opportunity to appear in an Avengers movie, right? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you, regardless of how old you are at the time, right? You'll pump the steroids. You'll you'll pump yourself with like young juice, and you'll make it happen, right? You'll get back in that suit. Like, why wouldn't you, man? Like, if I was Hugh Jackman, like, yeah, I would sell the hell out. It's like, yeah, sign me up for 5 Avengers movies, whatever. I'll turn up. Don't have to do anything. He's got enough money. He doesn't need to do anything for the rest of his life anyway, right? So why the hell not? Sell the hell out. But look, good. Let me know what you thought. I've talked to you for about 20 minutes now what I thought of the movie. I like it. I really enjoyed it. We'll be getting up the 4K Blu-ray when it comes out, and put it up on my shelf with all the other movies that I've selected over the years. And I look forward to, hopefully this is, look, I'll get into the D3 stuff in a moment, what my thoughts are on what Marvel is doing, what Disney is doing, and what this movie says, right? This movie is a message, right? And I'll speak to that shortly. But let me know what you thought of this movie. Did you enjoy it? Did you like it? Were you hoping for more? Was there something that you didn't get in this movie? And let me know what that is. And yeah, let's head on to the next one, huh? Yes. Excellent. Thank you for your patience. Let's head into this. So the Hollywood Reporter, I just searched for a list of what was unveiled from Pixar, Marvel, and Lucasfilm at the D3 panel. It's happened in the last 24 hours or whatnot. 48 hours, I should say. But before we get into this list, I need to talk about a few things with Marvel and Disney. Some of you, oh my God, excuse me. Some of you will agree with me. Let me just take a drink. Oh my God. Yes, indeed. Goodness gracious. Some of you will agree with me and some of you won't. That's fine. But I strongly believe, I'm in the camp that Marvel and Disney has sucked since Endgame, right? Nothing Marvel's done has been anywhere close to what phase 1, 2, and 3 have done. Nowhere near close, right? Nowhere. Besides, was it No Way Home? Yeah, with Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. I mean, that was, again, I think that movie did what Deadpool and Wolverine did better, right? I think No Way Home is a better movie than Deadpool and Wolverine is. But outside of those two movies, those are billion-dollar franchises right there, billion-dollar movies. Anything after Endgame has been crap, if not disgustingly bad. And I think they've spent the last, how long has it been? 5-6 years or something since Endgame? I can't remember how many years it's been. It's been so long. But everything that's happened in Disney, Star Wars, oh boy, and Marvel since Endgame, and since the whole woke thing's been going on, the push for the message from the studio, I can only imagine the billions of dollars that studio has lost between Lucasfilm, Marvel, and Disney over the last 5 or 6 years because of something that they're trying to push that the audiences aren't picking up, right? They're putting all this stuff down and the audience is like, nah. And, you know, you can see the decline over the years. So people just aren't turning up for it anymore, right? So when you've ruined a franchise like Star Wars in 5 years, something that's been around for 100 million years, right? And then you take it on and you destroy it in like 2 years, right? 2 or 3 years in 2 movies, right? And you destroy it and you continue to destroy it with all your streaming service shows and they're all just as bad. Like how do you own Star Wars and fail, right? Star Wars should be something that's too big to fail. Marvel should be something that's too big to fail, right? But they failed because of a message that the majority of audiences don't care about, right? The majority of audiences don't align with or resonate with. That a younger demographic that you're appealing to doesn't see themselves in it, or they're not turning up for it, or their parents don't agree with it, so they're not taking their kids. There's a flow-on effect for this, right? If I was an investor at Disney, I would have asked questions a lot sooner, right? I would have been like, hey, look how many billions of dollars we're losing. Can you please explain? And then I'd be like, hey, can you please stop? Right? Go back and do what you're good at doing, right? And I think movies like Deadpool and Wolverine prove that superhero fatigue's not dead. Good movies aren't dead. Cinema's not dead. That whole thing that we've lived with is not dead. It's just that you got to stop putting the crap out, right? You got to stop putting content out. You got to stop putting movies and shows out that don't align with the majority of people. Sorry, but that's what it is, right? The people that you're targeting on those properties, those franchises, those movies, those TV shows, that demographic that you're appealing to aren't showing up for it, or the ones or the demographic that are turning up for it aren't enough to sustain it, right? So diminishing returns has to speak eventually, and now you've got, all right, let's swing with Deadpool and Wolverine, see what happens, and then whoa, okay, people are wanting to go back to the movies, right? What was the other one that just happened? There's an animated movie, Inside Out 2, I believe it was. Yeah, the one on screen there, Inside Out 2. This thing's made an absolute buttload of money. Absolute buttload of money. A kid's movie, right? And from what I hear, I haven't seen the movie, but from what I hear, it's just a good fun movie with a positive message, for kids, right? There's no, from what I hear, and I could be wrong, tell me if I'm wrong. From what I hear, there's no message in there. There's no woke message. There's nothing. It's just a good movie, right? So I'm kind of, well, I'm on the side of, well, I'm stoked, right? So this company has gone through hell the last 5 or 6 years. Now they're having to go, all right, let's go back to what everybody wants again, which that seems like a no-brainer when you're running a business in entertainment. Why wouldn't you just keep giving the people what they want, right? Instead of trying to give the people what they think they want, but they just don't know that they want it, right? That stuff doesn't work, right? It's very seldom that works. Very seldom. Very seldom can you put out an idea that is not tested or is not true or is unaware of the populace and have it succeed, right? That just doesn't happen much anymore, right? Particularly when you're in the situation that you're in with Disney where, like, hey, look, Indiana Jones, right? That should have made money, right? If you did it as a Indiana Jones movie without the bait and switch crap, without the woke crap, without the feminism crap in it, right? No one wants that. No, people want to go see Indiana Jones kick ass and do cool stuff, right? They don't want him being subverted by, a woman. I'm sorry to say, but people don't want that. They just don't. They don't want him emasculated like they did to our boy, and that's what we've got full of recently, right? And I've been over it for a long time. I'm sick of it. I don't watch Star Wars. I don't watch most of the Marvel stuff anymore. I don't watch. The Lord of the Rings show, my God, it was terrible. Willow was terrible. I've checked out, right? Until people I know that start saying, oh, wow, that's actually really good, then I'm showing an interest, right? Or if I personally go, all right, I'll give something a go, and it wows me, like, okay, maybe things are turning around, right? For the most part, no. So D23, I've been interested to see what they were going to announce, just out of curiosity to see if, I'm sure half of this is not not enough time to react to what's been happening, and a lot of this is probably stuff that's been in development they just have to run through anyway, right? So let's get started. What have we got here? So Mufasa, the Lion King. Okay. So a prequel. Okay. I know the Lion King, this version of the Lion King made money. It was popular. I don't care for it. I just, I don't like any of these. You're going to probably hear a lot of this, and it is what it is. I don't like the live action remakes. I don't. I don't think they've been handled the right way for the most part. I've seen bits of this Lion King remake, not this Mufasa one, obviously, but it looked great. It looked fun. Very uncanny valley with the animals. But look, I think the original animated Lion King is still timeless and a classic. But I'm glad it's there and they're doing whatever it is. And hopefully it's as earnest and as heartfelt as that movie is with this Mufasa one. Like, I guess, well, why not? Let's explore the story of Mufasa. Okay. What is that about? Cool, no worries. I mean, I know the interest there, right? The Mufasa and Scar. There is a story to be told there, right? So the warranted. Well, let's go for it, right? Cool, whatever. Tron Ares. This makes me stoked, right? I really enjoyed the last Tron movie that came out. I know it didn't do well. Talk about Uncanny Valley with God, what's his name? God, I forgot his name off the top of my head. Oh man, that's horrible. Oh wow. God, someone's screaming at the TV right now, telling me what. Oh, what's his name? Oh man, the dude. God, I can't remember his name. Oh wow, it's just gone from my brain. If you're screaming at the TV, I apologize. I'm sure his name will appear in my head when I move on. But anyway, I'm glad that they're doing another Tron movie, Tron Ares. That's kind of cool. I don't really know much about it, but Daft Punk made a really epic soundtrack for that movie, right? That was really good soundtrack, and now they're getting 9 Inch Nails back, right, for this new one, which is kind of cool. That'll be very interesting to see how that goes. I honestly have no idea what they're going to do about this. This was a surprise to me. I honestly didn't think they would do another Tron movie. I thought that died. I thought that died. I didn't think they were going to do anything with it. So yeah, bring it on. More Tron. Tron's one of those unique things. It's got its unique style, its unique imagery, iconography, and all that kind of stuff that it could keep going. It could just keep being its thing, timeless, right? It's one of those designs, aesthetics that it's not set, right, in a certain time. Unless you go and watch the original movie, which, it's a bit of a hard watch today. I've got it on DVD. But anyway, moving on. Stoked for that. Snow White, honestly, I couldn't care. Could not care less. Could not care less. From what I've heard about this production, the actress in question, who's been shunned or, very quietly moved away from the mainstream, because of her attitudes. And if you've seen interviews with her leading up to this, she's just an obnoxious little crap, right? Just entitled little shit. And I'm glad that they've done away with her. I think she should have been a bit more gracious with the opportunities that was being presented to her, and shouldn't have been speaking so entitled as she was in a lot of the interviews. But I honestly don't think this movie is going to move the needle much. We'll see how we go. Considering what they did with the dwarves, the 7 dwarves. Tell me if I'm wrong, but from what I was seeing over the production of this movie, that they originally hired actors to be the dwarves, but they weren't dwarves. Like, they weren't little people, right? So they went back and CG'd them all in. They went back and CG'd them all in, right? I mean, come on. They could have just hired actual little people actors, right? I don't even know if that's the right term to use, but little people. They could have hired actual actors that are little people to play the roles, and they wouldn't have to spend that much money and just reanimating everything all over again. I don't think this money. I don't think this movie is going to make the money that people think it's going to. Prove me wrong, children. Prove me wrong. Freakier Friday, do not care. David Blaine's Do Not Attempt, I don't care. Agatha All Along, the show, no one asked for, right? I swear, by the moon and the sun, I swear that this show solely exists because of a meme, right? When One Division came out and that song Agatha All Along like happened, and it was a meme and it got popular and it trended and all that kind of stuff. They're trying to cash out on a meme, right? That happened a couple of years ago now. That's no longer relevant, right? I don't think. I'm sounding overly negative, I know, but I'm just trying to be realistic and objective here. I don't think this is going to work. This is a show no one asked for. Again, if it turns around and it's amazing and people love it and it trends and it gets lots of views and it's popular, well, cool. I'm happy for everybody, right? But surprise me. No one asked for this show, but we'll see what happens. Daredevil Born Again, I'm actually really keen for this. I really enjoyed the Netflix Daredevil. I really did. I'm glad that they're, from what I hear, that they're sticking to that vibe. That just because it's with Marvel proper now and Disney, that they're going to have to PG it. I don't think that's the case. I think they went back and rewrote it, and made it like it should be. Let's take a sip here for a second. I've been talking for almost an hour. I hope that it nails the landing, sticks the landing, right? I do wonder what they're going to do with Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin, as I believe at the end of, was it Hawkeye or no, Echo? Didn't they like shoot him in the eye or something? All right, or stab him in the eye or shoot him in the eye. Pretty sure they did. And you see him fight Echo or whatever, and he's got an eye patch. All right, all right, cool. Okay, we'll see what happens there. But anyway, speak of a pile of, wow, I can't believe that Echo show existed. But anyway, look, bring it on. Daredevil Born Again. It's a very popular comic book run, and I hope they stick the landing on this one. I'm really looking forward to this show. Really am. Ironheart, don't care. Seriously, I don't care. I don't think anyone does. I don't think they nailed it in that movie. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Right, all defenses aside, that movie had a bit of an impossible task with the passing of, the man himself as Black Panther. What shoes to fill that is. But they did what they did. They made it what it was, and they set up a lot of cameos for other franchises, right? Anyway, no one cares about it. No one cared about Ironheart, and now this series, I believe it's a series, has been in development hell as well. It's been on delay for like 2 years. This show should have come out a couple of years ago, but it hasn't. I think they're just going to send it out to die pretty soon. We'll see what happens there. Look, I don't want to sound very negative, but it's hard because a lot of it is crap. Fantastic Four and Captain America Brave New World. So I'm very intrigued by Fantastic Four. Very intrigued. I think the method of introducing the Fantastic Four into the MCU, it's like it's playing mental gymnastics just to get the validation of this outcome to occur, right? It's in another universe, but in a future past time, right? It's a future retro universe where we don't know what's going to happen there, or like it's set in the 60s, but it's a future 60s, like a legit like high technology 60s, which if accurate, it's leaning right into the first family, right? And doing that as accurate as possible. But it's just this whole multiverse thing. I know MCU's at a place where they can't not introduce the Fantastic Four without creating some mental gymnastics, because the MCU existed for 10 years with back-to-back movies with a story to tell throughout. And then how do you interject Fantastic Four into that universe that were never mentioned or anything prior, right? How do you justify that going forward and go, oh yeah, the Fantastic Four, yeah, they've been around this whole time, we just never heard about them. It's like Sentry. How are they going to do Sentry by introducing Sentry, which I think they're going to do, in Captain America: A Brave New World. But in the comics, they did the same tactic. They're like, oh, he's always existed. Everybody's forgot about him, right? It's one of those kind of things. Well, we'll see. But yeah, Fantastic Four could be cool. I hope they nail it this time. I hope they do it right. Doctor Doom, just like, what are they going to do with Doctor Doom? Fantastic Four, I get it. The first villain was Mole Man, right? I get it. And the most famous story for Fantastic Four is with Galactus and Silver Surfer. I get that. But Doctor Doom is synonymous with Fantastic Four. So I'm very interested to see what they do there. Will we see Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom in that one? Like, is that going to be the first place we'll see him? As like a Thanos type after credit scene? Well, who knows? We'll see. I'm still on the fence, or off the fence, I should say. I still think Robert Downey Jr., the way they're doing that for Doctor Doom, I still think that's the wrong way to go. Honestly, I still do. I really do. I think missed opportunity there to do something new and fresh. If they wanted to bring Robert Downey Jr. back as Iron Man, as like a evil variant of Iron Man, like superior Iron Man, like that I would buy, because it's the character of Tony Stark and Iron Man, right? Not many mental gymnastics there. Anyway, I already said that in the prior video, but if you haven't watched it, go and check that one out. Captain America: Brave New World. Look, I think the Captain America through line is my favorite through line of the MCU, right? The Chris Evans one, right? Chris Evans, Steve Trevor. God, that's DC. You know, Chris Evans through line as Steve Rogers in the MCU. Those are the movies I've got on Blu-ray. The only Marvel movies I bought on Blu-ray are those that involve Captain America, Steve Rogers. That's my favorite through line. I don't care too much for Sam, but I'm interested to see what they'll do with this in an actual movie. I kind of enjoyed Falcon Winter Soldier. I kind of enjoyed that one, but I hated the diversity inclusion mandate that they had to do in that movie, that series, where I didn't buy those super soldier serum warriors, right? I didn't buy them. She was not a strong villain, right? That freckled, curly haired girl, you know, I didn't buy her as a villain. She just seemed like a whiny, entitled little shit, right? I didn't buy it, right? So if I'm not invested in the villain or the threat, you know, in a story, then the rest of it doesn't mean anything, right? So until you get US Agent in, right? I really enjoyed that character more, right? Imagine if they lent into that character more, US Agent, right? Instead of this other thing. I think that series would have been a lot better. Anyway, we'll see what happens in this Captain America: Brave New World. Suit looks cool. I really like the Sam character, the Sam suit, right? The Captain America suit, the wings and all that. I think that looks cool. Red Hulk, you know, it's all that stuff is happening. Rumors that Sentry is going to be in there, so we'll see what happens there. Again, this might be another movie that's just glut, right? Cameos for the sake of cameos to set up future movies. Who knows, right? But this movie again has been through hell in development. I think they've shot the movie like 2 or 3 times, right? Because it hasn't tested well and it's just woke as shit, right? And nobody likes it. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully they stick the landing on it. And you know, Ryan Reynolds turns up to whatever, Deadpool. Awesome. Mandalorian Grogu, again, this is pandering. Right? I mean, you bait and switched us with Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan, that series should not have failed. That is a series that should not have failed. I can't believe they messed the bed with that series. Honestly. The Acolyte as well, an absolute joke. The Acolyte on paper sounds cool, right? Until you get into the understanding, okay, this is all the DEI, diversity hires, and, you know, fan fiction, lesbian fan fiction that nobody wants. Like, it's just no all over. So bad, ridiculous. Andor is one I've heard is the little diamond in the rough, right? Everybody says Andor is excellent. It starts off a bit slow, but it picks up, and everybody's like, wow, I stuck through Andor. It was amazing. So it's getting a second season, which is good. So I might actually go back and check that one out. But Mandalorian Grogu is just pandering. It's like, oh my god, we need to we need to win the Mandalorian audience back because season 3 again was bait and switch. Yeah, it's called the Mandalorian, and he's barely in it. Right? It's everything else. The diversity hires. Skeleton Crew. Honestly, I don't think this is going to go anywhere because the Star Wars fans are so dejected at this point. I would not be surprised if no one checks this out, considering how bad the Acolyte was. But we'll see. Maybe this is the turning point, right? Maybe this is the series that they put into production when they realized that they were crap in the bed and they really got to turn it around. Maybe this is that one. Who knows? Who the hell knows? Frozen 3, again, that's just another license to print money. Right? Yeah, let's do another Frozen. Yeah, let's get another $1 billion. Yeah, no worries. Kids will love it. Let's just make sure that we get a song that everybody likes this time that people will be singing because they didn't get that one in the last one. Zootopia 2, don't care. I've heard the first one's good anyway, but yeah, I don't care. Incredibles 3, I've yet to see Incredibles 2, but I've heard Incredibles 2 is incredible. I will see that eventually, so this is again a no-brainer. Hey, we need to make some money back. Let's do a Frozen 3, Zootopia 2, and Incredibles 3. Let's earn some billions in those ones. We need some like surefire sequels to make some money back, right? Hoppers, I don't really care what that is. Something about body swaps, cool. I don't really care. A beaver and a human who exchange bodies. Okay. Toy Story 5 again. Yeah, well, we need another $1 billion. Let's just make another Toy Story 5, another Toy Story movie. Let's just do that. Cool. We'll make people cry again. People talk about it. Awesome. Cool. Inside Out TV again. Why can't you just let things be what they are? I understand though. Inside Out could lead to a TV series spin-off. I think there's enough in there that could warrant some funny scenarios in a TV show, animated TV show. But anyway, whatever, we'll see. Avatar: Fire and Ash. Looking forward to that. I really dug the last Avatar movie. It was very safe, but I don't care. Like it was so maybe in a different landscape it might not have been safe, but with the amount of crap that was coming out around it, and then Avatar comes out as just a standard. Hey, here's the hetero dynamics. There's hierarchy here of man and woman, and like it's just standard stuff that everybody's used to. It's just a basic story of a man trying to protect his family, not being emasculated, not being stepped upon, not being told he's crap, right? It was just a simple story of a man trying to protect his family, and that was it. That's it. And you've got some, testosterone-filled fight at the end of it, between two blokes, right? That was it. On a $100 million, $200 million budget, like it's okay, cool, no worries. A high fidelity CGI. Anyway, it was great. I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to this next one. So we'll see what they do with it. I'm very curious. I think they said they'll go into Earth on this one. I think. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, Monster Jam. Funnily enough, I'm actually interested in this one. Monster Jam. Little was revealed about this project, but Dwayne Johnson introduced a film called Monster Jam that involves monster trucks. Is this Cars but monster trucks? If it is, sign me up. We can create something that is immersive and cool and fun. Said Johnson, calling it a live-action experience. Oh, it's live-action. Told from the point of view of these incredible monster trucks and their eccentric owners. Wait a minute. Didn't they already try this? Not Disney, but I think some movie came out about a kid in his truck, a kid in his monster truck or something. The alien truck. Man, I wish I could remember the name of it. And yeah, it tanked. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's Dwayne Johnson, whatever. Whiner 2, very cool. I'm actually looking forward to that. I know my nieces loved Moana, and my mum likes Moana as well. So looking forward to this next one. What's this next one? Nothing. Anyway, yeah, so that's it. That's all the announcements for D23. Cool. I don't think I can really speak to which one's my favorite out of all this. Probably Avatar, maybe. I'm scrolling up, just having a quick look. Fantastic Four. Daredevil Born Again. I think Yeah, I'm just scrolling through Daredevil or Tron. Yeah, okay, I'm at the top of the page now. Just getting a reminder through to my brain. Daredevil or Tron. It's probably my favorite favorite things on this list here at the moment. But look, you know, you can't win them all. I think it's going to be still a couple of years before we start seeing the turnaround from the absolute shit show that's been Disney and Marvel for the last 5, 6, 7 years, however long it's been since Endgame. Like everything in Hollywood, it takes a long time to turn around a massive ship. Like in any business that's got a lot of stake in it, it takes a long time to turn things around. Then you've got audience perception, audience loyalty, all that stuff to win back. I think it's still going to be a good few years before we start getting back on track again. When you've ruined Star Wars, when you've ruined Marvel, when you've ruined Indiana Jones, when you've ruined Lucasfilm, how do you win that back? Like 30, 40 years worth of content, right? Of storytelling, of fan base. And you've just dirtied it all in 5 years. Right? Pretty bad. And internet never forgets, right? Internet never forgets. Anyway, cool. Done with that. Let me know what your thoughts are. What's your most favorite announcement on that thing that you're aware of? Do you disagree with me entirely about my perspective? That's fine if you do, but my perspective is what it is. Cool. All right, let's wrap this show up, shall we? Yes, excellent. So yeah, I'm good with that. Good with the show. Good with what we've done here tonight. It's good to be back. I'm glad to be having these conversations and enjoying speaking to it and just getting my thoughts out there. Again, I've missed it. I'm very thankful for all of you that have stuck around and who will check out this video in the first place. It's a long one, so I appreciate your time. Again, as a reminder, if you want to get a copy, win a free copy of Could You Burn Harold Book 1, just remember to leave your comments in the section below or at me on socials, or if you see the post about this video, go back down to the comments and leave a comment of my dearest friend Quidjabo or my dearest friend Harold, and I'll select a few winners at random, and I'll get in touch with your contact details and see how I can get the book out to you, and hopefully it gets to you safely, and hopefully enjoy it. By the way, I'm really stoked with it. Again, you can see it back there. I'm really proud of it. I'm looking forward to doing the next one. This book is self-published, right? It's self-published. I'm not ordering these by the thousands at like a proper print house or whatever. Like this is all through Amazon, KDP, Amazon self-publishing. I don't have any quality control on these books, by the way, right? So if you're buying these through Amazon, which you can, just go search Could You Burn Harold and buy your copy. If you have an issue with the book on how it arrives or how it's printed or whatever, that is not my fault and not my problem. You need to go take it up with Amazon and get another copy sent to you, right? That's all you need to do. Then that's another reason why I'm going through a service like that, is just to remove the customer service element, because I don't have the time or resources to do that. So I'm prefacing that because if something happens to these ones I send you, I'll do my best to arrange another one for you, right? Because I want you to enjoy it. I want you to pick it up and have a good time with it, and be excited. I want people to be happy with it, and look forward to the next one. So yeah, Could You Burn Harold, check it out. All right, let's wrap this up. As we wrap it up, I wish you thanks for your time again, including me in your day. Right, I know time is a precious thing, and to spend an hour with me, listening to me ramble about movies and pop culture and whatever, I really appreciate it, and hearing my perspective on things. Look forward to your comments, and I want to interact with you, so make sure you leave them there for me, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Just go to my website, unclechant.com or koalainc.com, and all my socials are there on all the major platforms that you can think of, and you can keep abreast of all my projects and plans and all that stuff and updates on those websites, all my socials. In the meantime, till all are one, and may the power protect you. Skal. Yes. I'm going to click this button now. Yes.